What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video we're going to be looking at a Quora question. How much does an SEO audit cost? So I actually answered a similar question in a previous Quora answer video, which was about how much a technical SEO audit costs. If you want to see the answer to that question, check out my playlist on search engine optimization FAQ, and somewhere in this region, let's look here, audit, there it is. So it's right there. And that's a very similar question. It's a slightly different connotation in this case because this is just a broad, more of a generic audit question. But it might be that you're looking for a very technical audit, which is a lot more expensive. This guy is saying, $500 to $5,000 for a comprehensive audit. This guy is saying you can probably get away with a $500 audit, more expensive audit, $2,000 to $5,000 range. Of course, that's really only this talking about big sites, people that run e-commerce sites who want to really improve their meta titles and descriptions and on-page content for their products. That's where it's going to be really expensive to do an audit. But for most people, it should not be remotely that expensive. I've charged for many different audits, hundreds, I think, certainly upwards of 200, possibly more than that. But in the past, a few years ago, I used to do audits over on Upwork. I used to charge $125 for keyword research, then generic SEO strategy, and specific SEO strategy. So I used to charge $375 for a complete, SEO audit, essentially, for whatever your site is. So it was very comprehensive. And these days I have, as this price could change, so make sure to reference the site. But I charge myself, I have an SEO audit section where I charge $125 an hour. So you can, say we can kind of discuss the scope of what you're doing, and then I would maybe say, okay, this is probably going to take me an hour or two or three, or however long I'm guessing. And usually I would include keyword research into that and do a screen share like this where I'm talking about, what I'm seeing with the site and some of the on-page concerns, and then maybe recommendations for internal content based on terms, and then, maybe looking at competition for some of the keywords that you're going for. So if before any kind of fully managed retainer, I'd like to do at least an hour of just 125, sort of like an onboarding fee to audit what's going on, and then $375 per month per keyword or page. That's my current structure. So again, check my site for more information on how I do that. But it does depend. I don't do technical audits, and the difference is, in technical audits, people usually use tools like Screaming Frog, and do this big scrape of a site and just really get meticulous with the on-page features, and create a big plan for, here's how we're going to add all these little weensy on-page things to, really nerd out. But a lot of that is, I think it's a waste of money comparatively. Like, the basics are meta, title, description, H tags. And so if you cover those things, then that's the majority of what you need to be concerned about. Everything else is just kind of, somebody's just trying to charge you. I would make that argument, unless you've done a ton with your site and you're just trying to do the absolute most you possibly can on page, then it's a lot of that is a waste of money, because you're looking at literally 10x the price and more, depending. This guy's saying 300 to 500. And it's oftentimes what a lot of folks will do is take your URL and put it into some on-page utility, and then just print out some sort of white label PDF for you. So that's not something I do. Not that I'm necessarily talking all about my own stuff, but I just that's some of the easiest stuff that you'll see out there, and I don't think that's worth any price that you're going to be. Some of these guys are going to be charging. I don't see any other answer, more relevant answers. So I don't think an audit should cost that much. You can get a decent audit. Keyword research should be probably included, and on-page recommendations and competition insights. Those are the things that I would suggest need to be included in any SEO audit. And ultimately, in my experience, more than 70% of customers from these things won't take action if it's do it yourself, And so whatever the audit needs to be translatable to a fully managed service. Like the audit is a way for a client to be able to have the strategy and know what they need to do. And if they decide that they want to do it themselves or do it in-house, or whatever they want to do, they can have that. They can have a good grasp on what's to be expected, and the costs involved, perhaps, or maybe it's maybe not cost, but certainly it depends. But I hate to give an "it depends" answer, but certainly the competition involved, right? They can have an idea about what needs to be done, and then if they decide, we will move forward with whoever that has done the audit, then they can have a better idea of what they're going to be getting themselves into, and that way, that person who's doing that audit also is familiar with, okay, this is what needs to be done. They've done the research themselves, and they're prepared to take action on it. So I think, I don't think any more than $500 is any more than that, and it's too much unless unless other things are included, like, because you see, the audit is just, it's an overview, like in a different circumstance would be if someone's also being hired to actually implement some of these changes. They're doing the audit and then they're implementing. They're making really tight metadata, title and description. They're making really tight H tags. They're creating a more sophisticated plan for a specific page. Then it can get more expensive, like, depending on the research involved and how much time is spent to create a really tight page, because you can have several H tags on a page that are, keyword oriented, and that stuff needs to be structured, and that can take hours. So it does depend on the depth of what is involved to, you know, how deep of an audit are you doing? Like, are you actually instructing them to create keyword groupings? Like, then that's going to take a lot of time, right? That's going to take research. So there is a bit of a range, but in terms of an audit overview, I think it should cost $50 to $500. That would be the range. I would suggest $50 to $500. I think 125. I charge 125 for an hour, and I include video. So at least at the time of this, I might increase that to 250 in the future. Who knows? But somewhere in that vicinity is I think a reasonable price. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.